I'm posting another video for Michelle on that toilet. Now, this is open to any of my viewers, anybody that wants to watch it. Now, she had some type of fancy toilet that she had bought, but she got tired of these cartridges that she had to add with it. They're quite expensive and bulky. Now, I've drawn up a couple of simple drawings here. Now, you can take a 5 gallon bucket, put like a liner in there. You can get those. Well, Amazon has these. They got a seat that'll snap onto a standard 5 gallon bucket if you want to go that route. They have the liners, the plastic bags that you can put in there. Now, what I'd say that instead of the kitty litter like that, you just have your second bucket with dirt or sand in there. Then after each use, you just pile a little bit of dirt or sand in there. There are actually YouTube videos because I watched them on people that will RV camp that way. Now let me show you one that I've got because you can buy those on YouTube. I mean on Amazon. Like I said, you can get the lids from about $12 to about $30, depending upon the brand and what you want. Now you can use toilet paper with it. I'm gonna get to something else you can do here in a second. Now, well, this is one. How did I draw this? This is upside down. You can see that's a 5 gallon bucket with a lid. You can sometimes find the lids. Now I took the top circle is a standard 5 gallon lid with you cut a hole in there to match. You can take an old broken toilet seat. You can find those tossed, or you could go to the hardware store and buy one, and you take and bolt it down to the lid so it just flops up, and you just put that on top of the bucket. You use that. If you can find a broken toilet seat and you find the bucket just tossed, you can do that for almost nothing. And then you put liners in it. You get like some 30 gallon trash bag. There's Miles to myself. That's one of her videos that she's posting right now. I don't know what it is, but you can't see that. It just flashed across my screen. I said that's a toilet. Now let me show you this thing. This is I call that an RV evaporative cooler. Now you can buy those. Amazon has the little 12-volt DC coolers. That you pour a bit of water in there. I don't believe these things have a float on there. Now I'm gonna redraw this later. Where I explain everything in there. You see that tank on the top? That's a water tank that goes down to standard evaporative cooler float. What you'd have to do is add this little float. You could you can do that in about 10 minutes. Just add that. You hang that from the back window of an RV and you wire that up to where the blower motor and the pump all work on 12 volts DC. That wouldn't cool a big area, but like if you're gonna camp in there, just put that over a window where your bed is at, or where you're gonna, like if you gotta go in there and do some work on a laptop or read a book or something, you just put that in the window where you're gonna be doing it, and have that just blow in there. Like I said, you just modify one of the coolers, evaporative, because I've seen those on Amazon, between about $30 and $45, something like that. So they're fairly cheap. Like I said, the motor, the blower motor, and the pump are 12 volts DC. That's pretty simple. Anybody with some basic skills can do that. I drew one of those up where I just pointed out what everything is. That's the water tank on top. That's a cooler with a standard float in there. Nothing I'm going to cover. You can buy the power packs. The Jackeries like that. I think they're in the hundreds of dollars. But you can get, that's like an 18650. I dug that out of a laptop. I got a bunch of junk laptop batteries. This place that used to sell them, they don't anymore. But I've got a bunch of them. I've cut open 2 or 3 just to get the batteries out. Now you can get the holders to hold these. Amazon's got those. They're super cheap. You can get the BMS boards, the battery management boards, and you can wire these things up and make your own power banks for, maybe, I don't know, depending upon what you want. But it's a little bit of technical skill. You're willing to dig out a bunch of old 18650s. That is the number of a lithium-ion battery, 18650, that you can make your own, a 12-volt DC power supply, or you can build an inverter and get 120 volts and pretty much do anything you want. With a little bit, the average Daniel Joe is not going to do that, but a guy that's been doing electronics all his life that's pretty basic. That's pretty straightforward to take the battery management board and various power supplies and inverters and stuff. That's all basically pretty simple. Okay, just tossing that out there. Hope that helps somebody. Like I said, I've never done the RV camp life, but I'm gonna get out. The weather's gotten cool here. I'm gonna get out as I have opportunities and get up a few places like overnighters. And now there's a handful of places on my bucket list of places that I like to go. Probably by myself. I think most of the chicks that are doing the RV life really aren't interested in teaming up with somebody. On the off chance they are, you can let me know. Send me an email, repairmanjamesgodman@yahoo.com. Let me know what the places that are on my bucket list. Like out there, about Saddle Mountain out in the Tonopah area, you can camp out there. Yeah, that's all very desolate. You know, backwoodsy place. It's all open, wild desert. We can go out there and look for the witch cave. I've covered the Tonopah Witch a few times. Somebody wants me to cover the Tonopah Witch here again, I will. I personally, I don't believe that cave is there anymore. I believe the BLM blew it up just to keep people from going back in and get hurt. I don't believe that cave's been there for a long time. And whether I know who I'm trying to read there. They periodically will flash stuff from different stuff I'm signed up to, but whether I know who the Tonopah Witch is or not, I'm not going to tell you. Now, if somebody promises to me to my face to keep the secret, I will. Okay, love you. Let's keep life interesting. Bye bye.